Well, good morning. It's Thursday, September 7th. It's about 8 o'clock. Started hiking about 20 to 7 this morning. Kelsey and Brandy left about 25 minutes before I did, which is, I'm not going to catch them anyway, keep up with them, but I'll probably see them further down the trail. And I don't know if I mentioned, but they're northbound JMT. So we know we'll be seeing each other every now and again. So my goal today is a couple of options. 15 miles is kind of what I'm shooting for. But if it's looking like a good day, then I'm going to go the extra 3 miles or so to Red's Meadows and stop there for the night. Wouldn't mind doing that. If not, I'll be there tomorrow. Not a breath of wind. Lake Virginia. Okay, it's about 2:30. I'm about 4 miles from Red's Meadow. That is a cinder cone. There's actually tent sites near here, but I'm continuing. And just thought I'd video that. It's kind of interesting. But also, up there, let's go this way, is a structure. And I'm pretty sure that's, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's Mammoth Ski Hill, the top of the lift. And there's another one too that you can't quite see. It's behind a tree, but so I don't know if you can see that on your screen. It's between two trees. Kind of little shiny object too on top of it. Okay, it's the end of the day, Wednesday the 7th. There's my tent set up in the background. I'm at a government U.S. Forest Service campground. It's really nice actually. They have bear vaults, picnic tables. There's not many people here. There's no power or anything like that, but there's really nice toilets. And see if you can see the right behind me somewhere. There we go. And there's a camp host who I couldn't find, but I did find a way to pay. It's not that cheap here, but not much choice. I got to Red's Meadow at a little after 4, and it's a resort. And I thought it was like Vermilion Valley Resort, and it has similarities, but all their cabins were full. Their store had hardly anything in it. I didn't check the kitchen out. I kind of got a little disappointed because their shuttle isn't running either, and that that's how I'm going to get into Mammoth. So I guess I'm hitchhiking or finding a ride somehow. So, because my plan is, I could resupply and continue for another 3 days to Tuolumne Meadows, but the accessibility in and out of there is a highway that I'd have to hitchhike. It's just a little easier to get here. So I'm thinking ahead for next year, or whenever I continue north from here. It's easier to get to and continue. So this is my last day on the PCT today. And then I'm going to take my time going home, visit some people along the way, and eventually make my way home. So I'll take my time. So this is mile 906. Figured I did about 161 miles, not including the resupply to Bishop. That was another 23 or 24 miles, and the walk to VVR. So it's probably closer to 190 miles that I did in 16 days. So Not that I'm trying to set a record or anything, but I'm okay with that. And yeah, I'm kind of planning ahead. So tomorrow, we'll see how it goes for me to get a ride into Mammoth, and I highly doubt I'm going to get a ride in there early enough to catch the bus to Bishop, so I'll figure something out. I'm planning on staying in Mammoth anyway, so I'll try and find a hotel, I guess, tomorrow, and then get down to Bishop to get my vehicle. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, yesterday when I was hiking with, near the end of the day, I was hiking with Brandy and Kelsey, and it was downhill most of the way, as it was today. In fact, it was really good today, but I tripped and fell. And I'd just been thinking earlier how this so far had not fallen, and every time I have hiked, every hike I've done the last few years, I've fallen at least once. So I fell right in front of him, and Brandy commented how graceful it looked, and I didn't hurt myself. I scraped my knee a little bit. So yeah, that was one of the things yesterday. An interesting thing today that a lot of people aren't going to get, but I'm walking by this guy. We say hi to each other because everybody says hi and how you doing, and sometimes you chat, sometimes you don't. And he looks at my pack and he says, "Oh, do you have a Dan Durston pack?" And then he realized, no, it's not. So he didn't think I knew what a Dan Durston was, and I do, because I've seen a Dan Durston tent in Banff last year, and they're extremely hard to get because they make them available one day, and it's kind of not a first come first serve. It's just like a lottery, and they sell out in minutes. And so we started talking because he had the pack, the Dan Durston pack, but he also had the Dan Durston tent. And if I didn't have my tent already, that's probably the tent that I would have tried to go for if I could have got one. So anyway, it was kind of, he looked a little surprised that I knew what he was talking about, because I'm pretty sure you could ask 100 hikers out here what about Dan Durston packs and tents, and maybe 3 or 4 might know. So we ended up chatting for a little while. He's an older hiker, older than I am, and kind of an interesting guy. And that's what happens. You just end up, something clicks. It's just like here. I was talking to 3 guys that are hiking around here, and one of them, they had to come back from where they were planning because he got altitude sickness, and we started chatting. Turns out he's from Whitefish, Montana. So, there's always something, it seems, when you meet people. So anyway, I'll give an update when I get into Mammoth or Bishop, well, probably Mammoth, and let you know what other plans are, if there are any. But as far as the PCT goes, I'm signing off, I guess, at mile 906. Oh, and one more thing I forgot. I did 18 miles today, and mostly downhill, so not as hard as the 20 miler the other day, and actually did it quite a bit faster. Not that I was trying, but it was nice, easy. Mostly the last 10 miles were easy, slow, long decline, so yeah, wasn't too bad. Anyway, that's it for now. Okay, hi. I've been off the PCT for a few days now. I'm actually in Whitefish, Montana, and I was, this is kind of the follow-up to the last video, where obviously I did get out of Red's Meadow, and what happened was, and by the way, before I go any further, there's a correction. The video earlier, I said it was Wednesday the 7th. It was or Thursday the 7th, the morning of. It was actually Wednesday the 7th. So Thursday on the 8th, I was at Red's Meadow fairly early. I was grabbing a breakfast burrito, and I'm talking to the people there, trying to figure out a way to get from there to Mammoth. And I asked a couple that was in the store if they were headed to Mammoth by any chance, and they said no. So I went and got by the way, there's some construction nearby. So I went and got a breakfast burrito, and the couple I had asked about getting a ride, the guy is in his truck, and he says, "Hey, are you going to Mammoth?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's where I'd like to go." He said, "Well, hop in." And just a few minutes earlier, he told me they weren't going there, but then he told me so I hopped in, obviously, grabbed my pack and my burrito, and he and his wife drove me down to Mammoth. Well, he said the reason they didn't say anything at first was because he was worried that I really smelled bad. And he says, "You didn't smell too bad, so we decided to give you a ride." And it was kind of hilarious but I get it, because some people can smell pretty bad after being on the trail for a while. So I had a good chat with them. They drove me to Mammoth, and then I hustled to try and catch the bus to Bishop, which I missed by about 15 minutes. When I hustled, what I mean is I walked probably about 15 or 20 blocks. So I just missed it. But I did catch the bus later, and down to Bishop, got my vehicle, and drove back to Mammoth. And then I headed here. Took me a couple of days to get to where I am now. So obviously I got off the trail. That's where I'm going to go back to get started on the trail. And when that shuttle is running, like I thought it was, that'll be an easy place to get back on trail, because I'll just get to Mammoth, take the shuttle right to Red's Meadow, and I can continue on. So that's my plan. Just show you one of the resources that I use. Actually, I have these two books, Pocket PCT and this Pacific Crest Trail. These can give me a lot of information. I don't take them with me on the trail, but I do use them before I go and after I'm off. So this year, I ended up, including May, I ended up hiking 289 miles. I believe 288 miles maybe. So the total is about 648 miles now in the PCT that I've done. Just shy of 25% of it. This year on the trail, I was meeting probably about 40 people a year, or 40 people a day coming towards me, southbound. A lot of them were John Muir Trail hikers. Ended up going over 7 passes on the PCT. Plus I did the Bishop Pass Trail twice. Once off with Lily, and then once getting back on the PCT. And all of those passes were at least 11,000 feet elevation or more. And of course, I think my favorite spots were the Muir Pass with the Muir hut at the top, and Forester Pass was another one of my favorite places. And those are kind of the places that most people like, or are more memorable for people. Met a lot of great people on the trail, as I do every year that I go. Well, every time that I go. I've gone only 2 years, but 4 different times. So I'm looking forward to doing that again, and next year probably, of course. And it's kind of interesting that I always find the people probably the more memorable part of these trips, more so than the places, I would say. Although I do enjoy going to the different places, like Vermilion Valley Resort was another place that I enjoyed, and I met some good people there as well. So that's kind of it for this year, and I'm gonna try and do some different things next time I video. I'm not sure. It gets a little repetitive for me. I hope people that watch these kind of enjoy seeing the different places. I don't really show people that often, but maybe I'll do that more in the future. Like maybe ask a few questions about people if they want to be on video. Something a little different, I guess. But whatever I show, I appreciate that anybody who's watched and likes it. And I appreciate any comments anybody might have that they want to share with me, or if you're a friend of mine, just ask a question if there's something that you're curious about that maybe I didn't talk about. So health-wise, felt great. Feet felt great. Never had any blisters except for one on my hand from the hiking pole. I had some tweaks, little aches and pains. My plantar fasciitis acted up a little bit for a couple days. When I was in Bishop, I found a knife that I was looking for a certain type of knife, and I found one in Bishop, and then within a matter of a couple of hours, I cut my hand with it. Not bad, but you don't want open cuts or anything that might get infected. Turns out it was fine. Although, I made sure, like I have antiseptic wipes with me and everything to help keep clean, so that helped as well. So all in all, I think it was pretty successful 17 days of hiking, I guess it was, and one of the most beautiful places on the trail, and looking forward to seeing more of it.